It's a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
If you're in the business of making money, it would behoove you to be a safe and inclusive space.
Whether you agree with what someone is saying has nothing to do with his right to say it.
That was the lion's roar you ever seen.
Let's go, boys! Who feels corroborated? Who feels vindicated? Who feels substantiated? This guy right here, with the thumbs pointing at him right here, this guy right here. What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. So, out of curiosity, are you guys in a country, maybe a state, Democratic ran by the way, that's going through a drought? Do you not have any devices that carry any water? Are you not around any water source at all? Well, I'm gonna help you out right now, okay? Don't fret. Your homeboy Devontae is he's here to guide you, okay? I want you to just stand still, grab a bowl, put your hand out, whatever the case may be, because you about to quench that thirst with some AEW fanboy tears. Check this out real quick, bruh, because this right here, this should put to bed all of this. No more talking about this anymore. This is the end of the Mercedes Mone arc. This is the end of the Will Ospreay, Kazuchika, Okada deserve what they get paid arc. We are done with this. We're done. All right? After this article right here, after I bury AEW a little bit more just to put you guys in your place, because, I mean, to be perfectly honestly with you, I'm not really burying AEW as much as I'm burying you because you live vicariously through AEW. So, yeah, I can't wait to do that. But I'm pulling the cart before the horse. Let me read this article for you. You guys can follow along if you will. Don't cry too much. I need your eyes to be wide open to see what I'm about to smack down on your candy ass right about now when it comes to factual information, if you will. So if you guys look in the description box below, you'll see an article linked right there as far as what I'm reading right now currently. If you want to follow along, or you can just watch the video and stuff and read the article along with me. But there's a reason why I picked PW Torch, because they bring up some peculiar numbers, if you will, that kind of validate not just the position of what I'm talking about right now, but more so like my overall crux when I say that AEW was dying. Here, just check it out real quick. AEW Dynamite ratings report for last night. No week 2 bump for show featuring 3 big new acquisitions: Okada, Ospreay, and Mone. AEW Dynamite averaged 800,000 viewers last week, essentially flat compared to last week's episode that drew 801,000 for the debut of Mercedes Mone, along with appearances from Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay. Can I stop right there for a second? Actually, and it's not really that big of a deal, but I do want to point out the fact that they actually factored in the overrun numbers, and in reality, it wasn't 801,000. It was actually more like 798,000. Yes, AEW is so trash that they have their overrun numbers. Bring them down! How do you do that? But I digress. Continuing on. The last 2 weeks with the 3 big signings of 2024 has averaged 18,000 fewer viewers than the average in the prior 10 weeks this year. The 2024 average so far is 816,000 viewers. Get this though, 1 year ago, the first 12 weeks of 2023 averaged 913,000 viewers. That's a drop, by the way, guys, if you're not keeping up, of nearly 100,000 fans. Actually, no, that isn't, no, it's almost, that's 97,000 fans in a year's time. 2 years ago, the first 12 weeks of 2022 averaged 1,002,000 viewers. They have dropped in the past 2 years almost 200,000 viewers completely. Not a week-to-week thing, completely. They are just gone, eradicated. 200,000 people no longer watch AEW in comparison to 2 years ago around this time. And the key 18 to 49 demo, last night's episode drew 0.27 rating. Even with the prior 2 weeks, the average through 12 weeks is 0.29. 1 year ago, the average through 12 weeks was 0.31. And 2 years ago, the average was 12 weeks at 0.39. That was in 2022. And can I just throw my 2 cents in this? Because I remember, if I'm not, I could be wrong about this, but I think in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 2021, one of those two, I think the average rating around that time was like around 0.45, if I'm not mistaken. So they've literally dropped almost a full 20 points in the last 3 years in the ratings demographic for the 18 to 49, the coveted 18 to 49. Oh boy. But check this out. Dynamite competed with NCAA men's basketball on True TV and an NBA game on ESPN. It finished 4th on cable behind 2 college games and the 1 NBA game. It finished number 14 overall on broadcast and cable. So, do you got a full grasp of the situation? Do you understand what's going on at the moment? You say competing as if they weren't competing the past, 2 years prior to all this? Or maybe they weren't. I don't know. But what I do know is when WWE has to compete with the NFL, it's, oh, look at the numbers and compared to Dynamite, they're catching up on them. But I guess we can't use that same excuse when talking about Dynamite. No, we can. Oh, convenient, right? But that's okay. Let's get back to the discussion because we have more to talk about. So are we now done with this argument, guys? Can we put this to rest? Is this over? Kaput? Done? Nada? Zilch? AEW faithful? AEW stands? AEW dick riders? All you guys, Tony Khan stands? Mercedes Moné stands? Are we done with the stupid fucking argument that these guys are and I want to say these guys, because let's take Okada out of the situation. Let's take Ospreay out of the situation, because I feel like only delusional AEW fans actually believe that they were draws based off of their position within the company overseas a couple of years ago. Okada, in this specific case, a few months ago. Let's take them out, because only delusional AEW fans want to actually believe that Kazuchika Okada, the guy who was deemed the John Cena of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Randy Orton of New Japan Pro Wrestling, was actually going to take that audience, bring it over to the States, and people were going to give a shit. Let's just stop that for a second. Let's stop Will Ospreay for a second, because I will even say that I feel as if he wasn't being built up all the way in comparison to one person who I want to specifically target. Because it's not just the AEW fans, it was her stance, Mercedes Mone. See, here's the funny thing, because I know you're going to have the AEW faithful, the Mercedes Moné stands come inside here. They're going to be like, oh, Devante, you do not have the outward ratings to tell us what was her segment and what was the score. How much you want to bet a decrease? How do I know a decrease? Most likely because last week they had one of the worst main events in Dynamite history in regards of draw in the main event, and it drew, 600-something thousand views, right? You think Edge and Christian drew that little? You're delusional if you think that. Edge and Christian most likely drew around 900,000 fans. Maybe in the latter portions of the 800,000. Around that mark, right? If that's the average compared to the 600,000 that made up 801,000 initially speaking, then you got to believe if Edge and Christian drew that much, then something had to balance it out throughout the show. I will not be surprised if Mercedes Moné maybe was the number one draw of the programming. I doubt it. I'm still going to say that it was most likely Edge and Christian if I was a betting man, but it could have been Mercedes. But don't you think if one was on the higher echelon at 1 million and the other one was at 623,000 last week, and that balanced itself out throughout the night with the other 700,000 stuff to make 800,000, then you gotta believe Edge and Christian, most likely, if it pulled around 900,000 or whatever, that Mercedes Mone most likely pulled around the similar number, maybe even smaller if people cared about the middle portions of the show, which I highly doubt. I'm pretty sure that was Edge and Christian and Mercedes Mone that was the actual draw power of the entire show in itself. So one can probably assume it is a safe bet that Mercedes Mone 9 times out of 10 drew around the latter portions of the 800,000, or she drew in the early portions of 900,000. We will see, but I'm using basic common sense before you come, Devontae, focus on the hour to hour, wait for that number to come out. In order for that to be the case, for it to be that low of an average, Mercedes would have to pull a similar number to what she did as far as 1 million, and Edge and Christian would have had to pull in the 700,000 range, maybe even the latter portions of 600,000. Do you think Edge and Christian was actually pulling a very similar number to what Riho and Willow Nightingale did last week? That's the only way you can actually explain Sasha getting 1 million views. If she got 1 million views for her segment, you will have to at least come to the conclusion that Edge and Christian, either A, they did a 700,000 rating most likely for their segment or their viewership number, or B, something on that programming got 500,000 views, which I would assume would be one of the lowest, if not the lowest viewed segment in Dynamite history. Do you really think that's the case? Do you really think the lowest segment in Dynamite history occurred last night? Or Mercedes Mone didn't draw even remotely close to what she drew last week? You know why? Because, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, it was the initial pop of the debut. Now that the surprise is gone, now that that whole little imagery, if you will, of Mercedes Mone being in AEW has now kind of passed on, she's now a regular superstar. And that's what's going to happen whenever you go out of your way to pay for talent. Over and over again, it will be the same goddamn response every single time. People want to see, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see how she looks like on a television show. Oh, okay, cool. I got my fix. No need to want to watch anymore. You know why? Because people don't come to AEW to want to watch AEW. They come to AEW because they want to see their favorites from WWE who are now on AEW. But the difference is you ain't got the WWE propaganda machine behind you. The only difference is you have people who do not care, they care so little for AEW that they aren't even aware, half of them, that their favorites are in AEW. Because you do not have that propaganda machine that pushed them to the degree to make them a favorite of theirs when they were in WWE. That's the big problem. And you're going to learn this the hard way, Tony, as time goes on. Because I don't know any other free agents who are available at the moment. And even if they were available, it's the same goddamn thing that's going to occur. Here's the thing. There are no such thing today, right now, at this moment, there's no such thing as a person who's a household talent currently right now on the main roster on WWE. There's nobody who's going to be a game changer. Nope, not even Roman Reigns. Nope. Roman Reigns will probably be maybe an outlier to the degree where I feel like his presence on AEW may draw 2, maybe even 3 weeks of people wanting to check out what the fuck is going on with him being on AEW. But unless your name is The Rock, unless your name is Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm not even sure about John Cena at this point. It's very, very hard to draw strictly on your name alone. It ain't gonna happen. It just simply, it's not gonna happen. And you really think if those guys can't do it, you really believe that a Mercedes Mone would do it? You really believe all the previous names from WWE were gonna do it? It was never gonna happen. It was never gonna occur. And here's the worst part about it. Tony, you spent $4 million on Okada. From the reports being said, you spent a shit ton on Ospreay because he said that you blew WWE's number out of the fucking water. Listening to people talk about Mercedes Mone, she's the highest paid woman in wrestling today. So what I'm going to assume is that you paid all these 3 individuals millions of dollars. I will safely assume that their contracts all put together will probably reach around the double-digit mark, right? You paid double digits for 800,000 views. Not once, but twice. It's an L. I don't know what else to tell. It's a hard L, not just for Tony Khan, for expanding his dollars on these acts without having anything in place in regards to wanting us to relate to them. Because look at this. You think you don't think it's not going to get lower next week also? Why wouldn't it get lower? What the fuck is there to watch? Last night's show had more promise, considering that Mercedes Mone was supposed to come, and now people can watch it live who didn't see her last week. And Edge and Christian had an I Quit match. What the fuck is going on next week that makes you want to watch? Huh? As far as draw is considered. What's going to make you want to watch next week? And again, I'm gonna come right back to the sycophants, the hypocrites, the why do you care so much about the ratings and the viewership? All I care about is how much fun that I'm having. Cope, bitch, cope. It's all a fucking cope. Cope and hold the L for your stupid ass logic. Cope and hold the fucking L. Seethe. Cry tears of fucking pain and sorrow. Because like I said the last time we talked about this, if Mercedes Mone would have brought in 1.3 million fans, y'all would have been all over the fucking social media pages for years and years to come. Remember that time Mercedes Mone drew 1.3 million views? Huh? Remember she drew 1.3 million views? Huh? You don't remember that? Oh, you don't? Let me rub it in your face and show it to you. That would have been the entire crux of everybody's argument whenever it came a point in time that AEW started to drop and Mercedes Mone wasn't involved within the viewership number in regards to what dropped the product down. Well, guys, look, this one time she drew 1.3 million, and God forbid if she did it on a consistent basis, you would have threw it up in everybody's faces. And at that point, all anyone can do is sit back and go, all right, coolio, facts, you got it, bet. You got it. She's a draw on her own. She didn't need the WWE machine. But here's the problem. If someone like a CM Punk needed the WWE machine in order to, pull the kind of numbers that he was pulling a couple of, years ago? If you think the WWE machine had to be there to help out CM Punk, which they did if you go look at Punk's numbers in AEW, don't let their own standard rule against the fact that on the grand scheme of things, CM Punk absolutely was not a draw. He was a draw for AEW, no different than AEW. AEW's a draw for my own channel, right? Doesn't mean at the end of the day that I'm one of the biggest YouTubers, not one of the biggest wrestling YouTubers. It's just that AEW specifically draws for my channel. Just like CM Punk, when he was in AEW, he was not the biggest draw in wrestling. He just happened to draw for AEW in particular. Having to use yourself as your own measuring stick ain't a draw, buddy pal, junior pal. But my overall point is, if you think Punk couldn't fucking do it, what the fuck made you think Mercedes Mone was going to do it? What the fuck made you think Okada and Ospreay were going to do it? None of these guys can do it. The only thing that can draw in the end of the day is story and character. That's what draws. Not wrestling, not taking talent from WWE and putting them into a position where, hey, look at this new environment that they're in, guys. None of that works. You get a pop no different than you finally hitting the fucking lotto and being able to pay your rent that week. And it's funny because, again, we have evidence all over the place. We have evidence all over the place to suggest otherwise. We have markers of what you need to do in order to put yourself into an actual critical position in order to draw. We've seen it plenty of times in the past. Not just the story, not just the character. That right there is the foundation. That's the fundamental. But good stories, good characters. That's what we're looking forward to see. Not the wrestling, not to see the guys go in there and do their aerial assassin maneuvers. Not them going in there doing their whole little striptease dance in the middle of the ring. Well, maybe that might work also if you put the right women inside there. Not to see guys go out there and hit fucking clotheslines from here to Timbuktu. No. Why did you hit that clothesline? And what context? Why did you hit that front foot power driver outside the ring, aerial assassin? In what context? Why are you stripping in the ring, Mercedes, and your clothes are still on? That's going to be the drawing factor. And until you figure that out, until you get to the point where common sense prevails, all this is going to do is keep happening over and over and over again. And the AEW faithful can sit there all they want to. They can call you racist. They can call you sexist. Okay, they can call you a hater. They can say all these little ad hominems, anything to divert the attention from the fact that facts is on your side. They can say, well, Devontae numbers don't matter. Enjoy the show for what it is. Even though they're hypocrites, like I said, they would have enjoyed the show and the numbers at the same time. No matter what you do, no matter how you cope, this will continue. They're already showing that they're trending down to 700,000 as an average view. By the end of the year, I will be shocked if they did not average over 700,000 with the current product that they have at the moment, because that's where they're trending. That's where they're trending. And again, all these fanboys can sit there and type in the comment section, "Well, Devontae, I don't know what you're smoking on because I enjoyed the show." Good, bro. You enjoy the show. I'm happy for you. Keep enjoying it. With the numbers going the way that it's going right now, you're going to be the only one enjoying it, all right? Yeah, you're going to be the only one sitting there enjoying it. Oh, I was the only one enjoying it. Yeah, great. Yeah, awesome. Just like the guy, metaphorically speaking, just like the people who will break into stores and they steal stuff, and then people go, "Well, golly gee willikers, arrest that guy because he stole," and the person says, "Well, I mean, it didn't bother me." Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, you're the goddamn criminal stealing. But for the rest of us, we're affected by it because we have to watch the same stuff that you're watching currently at the moment. We have to watch you steal. We have to watch what you're watching, and you want us to like the things that you like. Nah, I'm here to tell you that it sucks, and I got numbers on my side to coincide with my reasoning. So are we good here, folks? Is this arc finally dead? No more talking about viewership numbers anymore, right? Because the proof is in the pudding. It's dead in your face. Mercedes Mone is not a draw. And Kazuchika Okada and Ospreay, the money thrown at them is no different than me giving $15 to a charity that I found out was fake. You got duped, Tony. You got duped for millions upon millions of dollars to get 800,000 views. Downtrending to 700,000 views. You played yourself. You played yourself. For the rest of the AEW faithful out there, you also played yourselves, because you enabled him to do something like this, and look at what you got back in return in regards to a receipt. So all you can do, all you kind of can do, you have nothing else. There is no more weapons for you, okay? Okay, you're like in GTA and all your bullets are gone and all you can do is throw hands at this point. You better do something because you're about to die right now. Buddy pal, junior pal. As always, my name is Devontae. Oh boy, I can't wait to see the comments on this right here. Oh, I can't stress this enough. Cry about it. Deuces, P. Ice.